gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Boss, and I go by the name Toa. Welcome to another segment. We still stay with me in the house is Mr. Ken, the Honorable, should I call you Commissioner? He's a businessman, the CEO of Megapoint, and today I think Megapoint, you should introduce yourself because I'm your baby, you know, just like always. It's the best one to do that.
Anyway, thanks for having me once again. We spoke at length not too long, and
yes.
Here we are again.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Ken, as you have rightly said, and I'm based here in Turin, a businessman, and that's it for now.
Megapoint, I think saying that there is no future anymore for Nigeria, you know, as a nation, or for Nigerians, because of the high rate of corruption, because of the political system that is not moving forward. And what is your take on that?
There's always a way forward. There's always a way forward, but a whole lot of things have to be put in place.
Okay.
Because Nigeria, we are in a stage presently where if one is not careful, we might never have solution anymore. No. So when we talk about the problems, the difficulties we're facing as a nation, people most times point fingers to corruption, okay, of which this is the very number one problem, okay, of Nigeria. Okay. And when we talk about corruption, majority don't even know what is corruption. They just say corruption, you know, corruption. When what majority understands as corruption is maybe the government, a governor, or a president,
when you are a leader, a politician.
So when you bring out some figures that you want to fix this thing up, and eventually you do not do so, that's corruption. Well accepted is corruption. Okay, but that is not all there is to corruption.
Corruption does not really have to do only being a leader or only being a politician, but even in our individual fame as well.
Yes. You know, somebody who is not actually qualified for a position or an office. In an office, for example, okay, two people brought application, and these people have attended to the interview. Perhaps they qualify for this position, but because somebody closer to the secretary, I've spoken with the secretary has spoken with the manager, then the manager brings the document and said it's my person, and it's what they need is not my person. What they need is somebody who is qualified. That is why you see in some other field in Nigeria, you see somebody who is not qualified. People start making mistakes because actually they are not good at it. They are not qualified at it. So when we put all of this together, corruption is not particularly about somebody in power stealing money, of which this government, government embezzling money is the major one. Because why? These are the money that is being embezzled is what is supposed to be used for basic amenities, and in absence of basic amenities, I'm sorry to say there is no nation. Because when you say basic amenities, we're talking about things that are non-negotiable, that man must live with. The truth of the matter is, Nigerians, we are strong people. Yes, we are strong people. If not, if you see to the failures, the lapses that we are having as a society or as a country, you wonder, how do people survive in such society, in such condition? Okay, first of all, now, do you know the easiest thing to ever get anywhere in the world is water? When people talk about fuel scarcity, they talk about lies, we talk about gas, we talk about all of these things. Now we are in Italy, so we see all of these things. We know that somehow, some way, these things need money to put them in place and whatever, of which Nigeria have everything it takes to get everything. But the one that baffles me most is the easiest, that is everywhere. How can a society as easy as water that is everywhere,
that you can find anywhere?
We don't have water board. The government cannot boast of water board. This is where the government control. This is they are responsible for this.
For this project.
Earlier on, from 90s upward, people begin to come from Europe and were drilling boreholes. From the invention of borehole, water board was dying. As we speak now, most of these people that were born after which, they don't even know if water board ever existed in Nigeria. I'm trying to tell you how the level of failure. So when water becomes a problem to a nation, then that nation is in a complete damage. So I don't want us to go too far. Let's not start talking about aviation. Let's not start talking about
area of securities as well. What do you think about that?
All of this thing boils to basic amenities. In absence of, okay, now let's talk about electricity now, for example. Do you know what it takes for something to be nicknamed power? They will say there's a power failure. For example, when there's no light, they will say power failure. For something to be nicknamed to be power, that is to say, is the strength of so many. So when you say power, in absence of electricity, what can you do?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. What can you do in absence of electricity? Absolutely nothing. We see some of these, 90 cables back in the days. But from it was very bad. The services were poor. But from 2002, when Econet and MTN, was introduced, it was all dying. And as we speak, the people that were born from then till now, they don't know if anything like 90 ever existed anymore. So in all area, the government is failing and it's pathetic. And the biggest problem that pains me more is that Nigeria has gotten to that level whereby it's even more difficult now to put things right, because the population we had 20 years ago is not the same population we have now. If we have 5 years this year, and obviously we're going to grow to become parents, okay, is it not wise enough for us to begin to think
what will happen in future? Which means what you're not saying is that we as a Nigerian, Nigerians, we are really a set of people that think more about the present without thinking otherwise about the future. How can we resolve or build a nation that is falling apart at the moment?
For us to achieve the success, first of all, is cooperation. Are Nigerians, are they cooperating?
Big question.
Are Nigerians, are they cooperating? This is the problem. We have big problem, two major big problem. These two major big problem is ethnicity and religion. We live in a society whereby if a Yoruba man is leading, the other begins to wish him failure. Known to them that within the 8 years which this person is going to fail, because they wish him failure, the failure is going to affect the nation, and this nation they're living in. So we have problem of ethnicity and we have problem of religion. What about the religion leaders? What about the MIs and the rest of them?
Because the ethnicity, I think, to my own idea, ethnicity
Do you know many years ago? Many years ago, when the government is, maltreating the citizen, sometimes the traditional rulers comes up to question the government. Like, you can't be treating my people like this. But these days, does it happen anymore?
No.
So, because perhaps maybe the so-called traditional
Taking a bribe.
leaders, no, not actually bribe. Maybe they have people also in government, so they can't fight their whole selves anymore. So that is why you see, one cannot lay a finger to a particular solution to the Nigerian problem.
So which means the way forward right now is as we, as Nigerians, we individually, is for we to focus on building ourselves, focus on changing our conception, focus on changing our perspective, towards building a good nation, towards building a dependable nation or independent nation, as you may say, in resolving our own problem individually, stopping corruption from our various activities, and they have a good nation. I think that is
of course. Just like of late, what we keep getting is youth coming into power and the rest of it. I for one, I don't see
any changes.
I don't see that as the major challenges we are having. Youth coming into government and the rest of it. Fine, they should give room for youth. You get it, but not just a youth, but somebody who have the fear and loves the people, who have fear of God and loves the people. Do you understand? This is my take, because I remember the time of Obasanjo, when Obasanjo was in power. More than average ministers that he was having, they were all below 40. The ministers and governors, or 40, maybe 40 something. They were all young people. We talk about the then CBN governor Soludo. Talk about the former information minister Frank Wike Jr. We'll talk about this even our previous president Goodluck Jonathan. When he was a deputy governor, he was a very young man at that time. We want to talk about Ibori. We want to talk about Dr. Benedion. All of these people, they were below 40 when they were in power. So let people talk about those states during Benedion. Okay, so now what are we talking about? The SO to Benedion there was Isaiah Yamura. As at then. So how old was he? They were all young people. So the problem to me is not about the age difference. It's about somebody
with sincere
who have
fear of God,
who does not have love for the people who is coming from his village, or who does not have love for the people who is coming from his street, but who have love for Nigeria. This is the problem we are having. We have people in power who lost, people around them alone, who lost their children alone, who lost their family
their
alone,
community,
who lost their community alone. But they don't love Nigeria in general. So it's not about young person coming to power, because this whole thing happened in my very face.
Any last word before we leave the studio, sir?
No, I think we've spoken at length for this particular issue, and I think there's nothing we are going to say here that Nigerians have not heard before. We all know the problems we are facing. The only thing that is difficult for us is to have a change of mind. That is the only problem. The only thing that is a problem to us now, because we already know our problems. That's it.
Okay. Just like what Mr. Kent said, is that we individuals, we should work on ourselves. That if we change our mindset, then we can have a good nation. Okay. I think now we can see you some other time. Keep supporting Opinion Boss. Keep watching Opinion Boss, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. God bless you, and I'm your host, Mr. K.